everybody trying to be content creators and trying to go viral. You want to go viral?
Okay, you want to go viral. Let's go viral then.
Say less.
Let go.
Let's embrace it. Let's love it. Let's enjoy it. And let's give them the experience of their life. That's Roswell for you, baby. Come together. And guys, this is Speaking Out Loud. I appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to share and dance like you just don't care. It's early in the morning. Let's have a day. And like I said, be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS.
Good morning and welcome to Speaking Out Loud. I am your host, Rene Ruiz, and along with me is the man with the buys, the man with the tries, the one with the broad chest. I know it's hiding behind that hoodie, but the one, the only, John Borba. Johnny.
Yo.
JB, well, we missed today, but that's okay. We're back and ready, more ready than ever. The NFL Week 9 slate is here, JB. But before we talk about NFL Week 9, we got to talk about a little hometown news. The hometown news that's happening this Friday, tomorrow, October 31st, on Halloween Day, coming out of Roswell, New Mexico, JB, is the hometown showdown, red versus blue. The Roswell Coyotes will be hosting, or I guess the Goddard Rockets will be hosting the crosstown rivals, the Goddard or the Roswell High Coyotes. JB, this used to be a big deal back in the day when we were in high school. What do you remember? Do you remember going to any games, anything
Went to
entertaining
a couple.
from back
Yeah, I
in the
went
day?
to a couple. Yeah, it was a lot of people. I mean, it's what you kind of
Packed
play
house.
for, and talking to players who have played this game and stuff like that. This is what you get hyped about. You know what I mean? Like it's a crosstown rivalry. Um, some good memories too. Some good games.
Yeah.
Well,
When we were in school,
when
when
we
we
were
were in
in school,
school,
it was
Goddard kind of dominated Roswell
yeah,
High.
yeah, yeah.
It
So
honestly, what's funny is back then when we were in school, Goddard would dominate Roswell High, and then Roswell High's football team was a really good flag football team. So come the summer, those battles, the high school teams battling in flag football, was a lot more entertaining than what it actually was with pads. But it seems like the tides have turned. Roswell High has actually been the more dominant team. Both teams are going into this game 6-3. Uh, both with the 4-2 district record. From my understanding, is Roswell High moved up as far as what district they play for.
yeah.
They're 6A now, from my understanding, and Goddard is 5A. So they only play once a year, and then come playoffs, they don't even meet each other. At least that's from my understanding. We are going to have a local sports gentleman that's going to be joining us every week, so that's good news there, JB. Mr. Chris Royball. I don't know if you remember Mr. Chris Royball. I'm still waiting for the confirmation, but it sounds like he's game. He used to coach there at Goddard. He coached the girls basketball team. He's a follower of all Goddard sports, so we'll have a Goddard guy. We'll have an insider, just educating us on the local sports world that is. So shout out to Chris Roba. Hopefully he'll be joining us soon. Hopefully next week. It would have been nice to have him today. Like I said, he hasn't completely confirmed, but I'm just speaking it into existence right now. So let's see how that plays out. But I'm assuming it's gonna be a great game. I'm assuming it's gonna be a packed house on both sides. Goddard's hosting it, so they're on the home side. Roswell High on the opposite end there. I hope it's a good game. I tried to look up numbers and stats. It looks like Roswell High is the only one that's reporting it on the New Mexico Max Prep website. Goddard has nothing. JB, like literally nothing. All their stuff is just grayed out. I don't know if you can see there, but Roswell High looks like they got some dogs. Rodriguez, Lynn looks familiar. Former coach, I think, is the pops. He's averaging 172 yards passing, so it looks like the boys are slinging the rock, overrunning it. They're only averaging 61 rushing yards. Granted, I don't know how accurate this is, man, but that's why we got it. That's why we're gonna get. That's why we're gonna get someone that can educate us, JB, and educate our audience. Hopefully, starting next week. That way, we can glorify the beautiful sports world that is here in Roswell, New Mexico. There's some talent out here, bro. There's some talent. As we look back, we got a handful of friends, handful of friends that went out and played D1 ball or Division 2 or even JUCO. Let's remember those boys extended their sports careers, as a lot of us couldn't, even if we wanted to. So shout out to those boys that went on and played further down the line. We got a couple UNM boys, a couple UNM friends, a couple New Mexico State buddies, a couple Portales Greyhounds. You got a couple homies that played there, and I got a couple buddies that went on and played some soccer, Division 3 level. So that's cool. We got a bunch of buddies, JB. You got some athletes coming out of Roswell. Uh, so hopefully we'll be able to put them on a spotlight, and maybe we'll have like an athlete of the week or something cool like that, JB. Once we start learning a little more, but it'll be pretty cool. Also, something that's happening here locally is the Fall Bash that's brought to you by Roswell, New Mexico, and Waymaker Church. This happens tonight, 5 to 8 p.m. It's a free event at the Pioneer Plaza, 426 North Main Street. They're gonna have free games. They're gonna have a trunk or treat. It's family friendly for for you and your kids, but also just yourself. Go out and enjoy the town. Get to know your locals, and there's a couple big deal elections. I'm sure there's going to be some important people there to shake hands with and maybe get to know. That way, you know which way to lean going forward. But JB, NFL Week 9, it feels like the NFL Week 9 for us or for myself. I don't want to speak completely for you, but it feels like this is it. Like our season's kind of fall down to really the middle of the pack of the NFL schedule, and that's now. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, yeah, at least for the Vikings too, because we got Detroit, and then we're probably gonna have to face Lamar next week, and after that win that they got this past week against Chicago, their defense looked a little bit more sticky. So, and what's funny is Vegas literally has Baltimore winning that division. Vegas this
Still,
week. So,
yeah.
there's something going on. So it's not looking bright for the Vikings right
Well,
now. So
I'll tell
but
you.
it is what it is.
With that being said, that's a perfect segue into tonight's game, which is the Baltimore Ravens against the Miami Dolphins. This game is very telling. There's a reason why the Ravens are still favorites in their division, and it's probably because they have one of the easiest schedules remaining. Here is a graphic of the 5 teams with the easiest schedules. Leading leading the pack is the New England Patriots, and then you got the Browns, Saints, Bengals, and the Baltimore Ravens. So what do they got? They got the Dolphins, they got the Vikings, Bengals, Browns, Dolphins, Jets. Yeah, damn. Yeah, dude, just
A
looking at the
winnable
graphic,
schedule.
v- it's open for the Ravens. And really, I know you said they got a little sticky on defense last week. It feels like the biggest difference for them is just health. This whole time, it seems like the Baltimore Ravens just weren't healthy, and maybe we looked a little bit past that, JB. Maybe we looked a little bit. Maybe we had our blinders on and said, "Hey, no excuses. Next man up." If you have a former coach of the year, if you have a former Super Bowl champion as a coach, you just expect that he has the next man ready to step in and make a difference. And they hadn't been. It's the worst defense in the league, but they have the room to be able to make a run, and that all happened because the Steelers are keeping them alive. But the Ravens versus Dolphins, this feels like a game of what team will become a seller, really. Because if the Ravens drop this game, JB, uh, I mean, I don't want to say the Ravens will become sellers immediately if they lose this game. I mean, that would be a big deal if they lose. That'd be a tough loss, honestly. But I wouldn't completely sell out on them just because the Steelers are keeping them alive in that division, and obviously the Bengals and Browns are who they are right now. But what are your expectations from this Thursday night game?
Honestly, I think Ravens should win this game. Dolphins are up and down. They're just very inconsistent. Um, from what I've seen, Ravens are getting the run game going. Derrick Henry's starting to run the ball pretty
Chug a chug,
solid,
yeah.
effectively. And if this defense can just get a little bit better week after week, They really do have a chance to make a run. Getting Lamar back is going to be huge. Don't know if that's going to be tonight or if that's going to be next week. I know it was a short week and Lamar missed last week, so it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. I haven't heard anything if Lamar's going to be playing tonight or not. I don't know if you
Yep,
know
he is. He
anything.
is. He is. He
He
is.
is okay.
Yep.
So Thursday night football, Lamar's coming back. Team's starting to get healthy. Defense is starting to click a little bit more than we've seen it in the past. So, and with the Dolphins, with their up and down and their shakiness, you really just don't know what you're going to get. Um, I feel more confident putting my money on the Ravens this game. I just with Lamar back, I think that's a boost. And this team is thinking, okay, it's time to stack some wins, make a run, and whatnot. So, did my screen freeze?
No. Oh, actually, I'm not
Okay,
sure. Yeah,
I think
you
it's frozen
froze.
on mine. God dang! All right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more there, JB. Um, we're talking about a Ravens offense that when is clicking, can definitely pound the ball down their throat. If I saw the stat that says Derrick Henry touches the ball on first down, he's the Ravens. Derrick Henry touches the ball on first down, worst ranked team in the league, and you got that big monster, and somehow, some way, he's not the one touching the ball. They're also the least running team on first down in the NFL with Derrick Henry in the backfield. It makes no sense. I assume we're going to see the changes. Um, Derrick Henry right now is set at 90 yards to gain. That's the over under for tonight's game. I would assume the over. I would assume the over. This team is really honestly, it's just getting healthy. It's getting healthy, and I think we've kind of put our blinders onto that because we always use the you can't use injuries as an excuse, which is valid, right? But whenever we start seeing um, a flip like we are with the Ravens, and granted, it's only 2 games, they're on a 2-game win streak, so maybe we're a prisoner of the moment. But the way the schedule is laid out for them, I mean, this team can easily get in the playoffs, and I honestly kind of see it happening, really. I'm gonna take the Ravens tonight, JB. You too?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Ravens. I think they pull it off, and some teams honestly just are not built to have the next man up for whatever reason. We see injuries all the time. Some teams can handle it really well. Other teams struggle for one reason or another, whether it's the depth, whether it's the experience. Some guys are just out of position. The chemistry is just not there. There's a lot of factors. It's not just next man up, you know. um, there's a lot of issues, and especially, I mean, I say this just because I'm a Vikings fan, but the way that we've drafted these past few years, some teams just do not have the depth, and you got these guys that are scratching and clawing to make the roster, but when it comes time to play, the chemistry's off. They're a step behind. Things just don't look good, and some teams just aren't built for that, you know. And I think you get a healthy team, you get a proven quarterback who has done a lot in this league, and I think that changes your confidence, your perspective on everything.
For sure,
So I
for
think
sure.
it's going to be a turnaround in Baltimore, and I think they start stacking a couple wins for sure. I think they can get in with 10 wins. You know, they can afford to drop maybe one or two more, but I think 10 wins you can make it in as a wild card. If not, maybe the division winner in that division.
In that
So we'll
division, for
see.
sure.
It's going to be an interesting
I
shakeout in
mean,
December. Those last few games.
they're gonna be on the road. They're gonna be on the road for these next couple games, right? Tonight in Miami, then they go to Minnesota, then they go to Cleveland, then they got the Jets at home, and then they get the Bengals. Which that game would be interesting because it's all dependent on how the Bengals look. Uh, in the next couple weeks, like, does Joe Burrow come back, or did they end up just sidelining him for the rest of the season? I like I I mean, I think if you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, you're feeling kind of comfortable. You're feeling comfortable going into tonight. You feel excited. I think the most important thing is that you want to see some type of progression, both offensively and defensively. It feels like a game where you hammer the over on Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson rush yards. It definitely feels like one of those games, and it feels like a game that's probably going to get out of hand there in the second half. Um, I honestly expect this game to be a snoozer, a complete
Lamar should have
snoozer.
a. I
But hey,
mean, Derrick Henry should have a great game on the
a field
ground. I
day
mean,
today,
Miami's been awful
field
in
day.
the run game. Miami's been
Yeah, one
really
of the
bad in
worst
the
in the
run
league.
game. Yep.
One of the worst in the league. But JB, let's move on to the next one. This we have. Sorry, that was a deep breath by me. Whoa, hey, a little out of shape, JB. What's going on right now? Your boy breathing heavy. This is crazy. All right, Chicago Bears are favorites, 2.5 point favorites over the Cincinnati Bengals. Storyline going into this game is, can Ben Johnson get Caleb Williams rolling consistently? This is a matchup where it's the Bengals run game versus the Bears run defense. Can the Bengals establish a running game to open up the play action for Joe Flacco, who is the play action king, is what it seems like. But what are your expectations from this game and in your winner here? Joe Flacco, just a heads up, day to day, had a
Yeah.
shoulder injury. It's not on the throwing shoulder. It's expected that he's not going to play, but it's day to day. So
Yeah. I'm gonna
it's
tell you
kind of
right
like kind of
now.
a coin toss, really. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I, if Joe Flacco's not out there, Bengals lose by 30 points. Like I don't care. It's literally
It's
Joe Flacco is
back
the
to what
only
it was.
savior in this freaking team. So if he's not playing, I'm taking the Bears. The only thing is with the Bears and Caleb Williams and everything, looking at all these statistics that are coming out now and just watching Caleb Williams, sure he might have maybe improved when it comes to his inconsistencies, but actually his completion percentage is lower. I think he's thrown for like 200 more yards this year. He's got the same amount of touchdowns as he did last year. His progression per read, like his time to throw the ball out, is actually slower this year. So the Ben Johnson effect that everybody's so hyped on, it might be working, but Caleb Williams is not necessarily progressing the way that I don't think you want this quarterback to progress. And honestly, I'm kind of looking at it at a deeper perspective. Ben Johnson is a type of offensive coordinator, offensive guru that everything is timing, right? You got these patterns that are timing throws, very well executed offenses and everything like that. Caleb Williams is totally the opposite. So this almost is like a crash course for like disaster happening, like a head-on crash course. You got Ben Johnson
Yeah,
right
yeah.
here, you got Caleb Williams, boom. And I don't know, man. I honestly, I don't. Does this work out? I don't think till the end of next year if this
Yeah,
really is a
they got to
relationship
grind this
made
out
in
one more time.
heaven.
Well,
What's that?
let's ask one of our football enthusiasts, Green Bay Packer fan, Mr. Earl Robinson. E-Rob.
Morning. Good morning.
I mean,
I thought you guys were going to leave me in the waiting room for another 5 minutes. It's about to drop.
that's what I thought too.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't even notice it, Jay. Jay, that's on Jay right there, Jay. But E-Rob, did you hear what Borba was saying there about Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson possibly? Hey, question mark. Maybe it's not going to work out.
Yeah, I mean, it's early, right? Like both in Ben Johnson's head coach career and even Caleb Williams, right? He's only a second-year quarterback. So I feel like you have to give time to learn the offense before we kind of write how we think how that'll go. But I definitely agree from the perspective that it wasn't just Ben Johnson comes into town, flips the switch, incorporates the Lions offense, and they're scoring 40 points a game. Like that has not happened. Caleb Williams at times looks phenomenal with some of the throws that he makes, and at other times he looks like Renee trying to read the defense in Madden and throwing interceptions. Like it can get ugly quickly.
That's fair. That's fair. I
Yeah.
didn't expect a Madden shot this morning. But it's very accurate though, very accurate. But I will tell you what, my Madden skills, I got a game in me, and then after that one, I got probably 3/4. I'm like the Denver Broncos. You give me 3/4, I stay in the game, and then there in the fourth, I fall apart. Broncos show up. But let's move on to y'all's division here. We got the Minnesota Vikings playing the Detroit Lions. What feels like a must-win from the Minnesota Vikings. JB, are we still babying JJ McCarthy here?
No, you literally can't. So that's the whole reason why they had Carson
No, I
Wentz.
know, I know you can't, right?
No, you
But what's
can't.
your
No,
team? What's the reports coming out from your team? Because from my
absolutely
understanding, he's
not.
still questionable.
So, no, he's gonna play. JJ McCarthy's playing this game. I don't care what I've read. He's playing this game. There's a reason why Carson Wentz, like, they just hammered him into the dirt and put him on
Literally.
IR, and now he's gonna get surgery on his labrum and all that. Like, there's a reason why they held out for that long with a guy that knew what he was getting into, a guy that was injured. He's been playing injured, and he's like, I'm good for it. I know what I'm getting myself into. And so that's what it is. There's no excuses now. Like, you literally don't bring in Max Brosmer when you're getting blown out because you don't want to start some controversy. Did my screen freeze again?
No,
Yeah,
you're good.
I no, yeah.
froze on
Or
my
your
end.
screen did, but we can hear your
Oh
audio.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Well,
you're good. You're
yeah.
good.
What
Good
all I'm
streak.
saying is, I'll say this one more time before I re-sign in, but the Vikings knew what they were doing, and they've handled this whole situation like awfully. I feel like it's
Right.
been bad. You're trying to preserve a top 10 quarterback, first round pick, and you're babying the guy. I don't know if there's issues with the training staff, the medical staff. There's just a lot of issues. I don't feel like this whole situation was handled correctly. And ultimately, like, there's so much pressure on JJ because of what Sam Darnold did, and this team won 14 games last year, right? It's a new season. Like, you expect a regression, right? With a rookie quarterback, you expect a regression. So I think this kid just needs to go out there and just play loose. You
JJ
got
McCarthy.
nothing to lose. You're already expected to get blown out by the Lions. You might as well just show up
Eight and a
and
half.
see what you can do. See what you can do. Make these throws that people can say that you can make. Read the defense. Get the ball out quick. Make plays with your feet. Like, right now, a young quarterback, and we see what Jackson Dart, a young quarterback, their best friend is their legs right now at this stage of their career. Sometimes they don't see the field all the way. Sometimes they're a little, panicky in the pocket. Dude, when all else fails, take off and run. Take off and run. And he can do that. So just do it. Just do it. And then if all else in doubt, you got Addison and JJ. Throw it to these guys, man. They can make plays. We've seen them make plays on these corners all the time. So
Yeah.
that's all I'll say. Let me
Yeah,
sign out real quick.
This organization seems to have continued to drop the ball at the quarterback position. What's your thoughts on this game here, Hero?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think this one could get ugly. Um, to me, it's gonna come like JJ McCarthy has to make a couple plays. I agree with that, but it's gonna come down to the Vikings defense. Like, if the Vikings defense can slow down the Lions and keep it in the low to mid 20s on total points, then you're not forcing JJ McCarthy to throw the ball 30, 40 times that game. But if the Lions come out hot, and put up 21 points in the first half, and the Vikings can't, run the ball just due to clock management, trying to score points, I think it definitely could get out of hand. You're going to see the Lions do a lot of, they like to do that zero blitz where it's just man defense and send the house at the quarterback. And with a rookie quarterback, that'll be tough on the road in Detroit.
Yeah, for sure. Do you expect? I mean, like, how loud? We'll end with this before we go on to the next game, but obviously the patience with JJ McCarthy's it seems like it's been slimmed down, especially with them benching him for whatever reason or holding him back for whatever reason. Do you think the noise gets loud if they get blown out or if JJ McCarthy looks bad today or this weekend?
I mean, I definitely think, yeah, it's going to be a story. Like, people are going to talk about it. But I'm still of the view of, like, you've got to give quarterbacks more than 1 year,
A
and like
game.
we're halfway through the season, right? Like, people wanted to write Stroud off week 3 of last year after having a great rookie season. Like, you've got to give quarterbacks time to adapt to the NFL, especially ones that really didn't throw the ball that much in college. And so I definitely think there's going to be storylines of
Around it,
because
yeah.
just like Borba said, they let Sam Darnold go. He had a hell of a year last year, and he's continuing that this year. So that's what makes this hot, right? If they had Jake Browning last year and they won 3 games, like we'd just be talking about easing McCarthy
Yeah.
in. So it completely flips the storyline.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't agree with you more. Now let's go to your team here. Carolina Panthers going over to Green Bay Packers. It seems like most people would be like, "Oh, this is a trap game. This is one of those games that the Packers probably don't wake up for." So as soon as I think that, I immediately go to, okay, this is the type of game where you got to go establish yourself and prove that you are a great team. In situations like this, great teams don't play with their food, and they show their dominance. I expect that from them this weekend. They're 13.5 point favorites. What are the expectations coming out of Green Bay?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see us come out and just beat a team handedly. I don't feel like we've done that since earlier in the season, maybe against Washington, but we seem to play down to an opponent in the first
Yeah,
half.
y'all do.
And so I'm hoping that doesn't happen this week at home. We've kind of already hit, hopefully, our only trap game of the season with losing to the Browns on the road. Um, but we should come out. We should beat Carolina. I mean, I don't think that they're the 1-15 Panthers of the past. Like they beat Dallas. They're what, 4-4.
Very gettable game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like they're not bad. Now the Bills went in and destroyed them last week, so hopefully we can take something from that playbook. But if you throw out that game from last week, like the Panthers have had a pretty good season. So I was honestly surprised to see us as almost 2 touchdown favorites against the Panthers, just given that they've got a pretty decent defense. And then, Bryce Young, I believe, is back this week. That obviously had a
Yep.
factor in their lack of ability
Their
to score
blowout
points
loss.
last
Yeah.
week against Buffalo.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, man, 90-40 without Bryce Young, Andy Dalton. I mean, they looked like a guy that should not be in the league anymore last week, but that is a backup, so it is what it is. Rico Dowdle has been announced the starter going into this week. I don't know how much that changes the game plan. I'm assuming they're still going to be a run heavy team. JB, any thoughts on this Packers Panthers game here?
First of all, is my mic sound a
You're
little?
good. You're good.
I'm
No,
good.
you're
Okay.
good.
Um, is Bryce Young coming back in this game?
Yes.
I think
Yes.
so.
That does help.
He's back.
Yeah.
He's back.
I mean, that does help. I know that they got Jalen Coker back, who was like an undrafted guy who had a real good connection with Bryce Young too. So now they're going to finally play together. So that's something to kind of keep your eyes on. But I think overall, what the Green Bay Packers are doing, I think they're getting into like a rhythm with how they've been playing. And yeah, I think they have left more to be desired. We kind of saw them, kind of break out of that last week with a pretty decisive win, I feel like, over Pittsburgh. But there was also a couple weird controversy non-calls, in that game. But I think the Packers
Every game, right?
they should win this game. I don't see how Carolina is outmatched them in any position. In any position, when you kind of compare the two, you just got to win at the line of scrimmage. That's pretty much all it is. You win at the line of scrimmage, and if you can just pressure the heck out of Bryce Young, you're gonna have a field day. So that's what it is. That's probably the key to victory is just getting after Bryce Young, making him speed up that internal clock and get the ball out fast, and you might be able to force a turnover or two. And if you start off fast, I don't think there's Panthers aren't going to come back. If you start off fast
For
that
sure.
game, so see how it plays out. But
You know,
I think Green Bay should win that game for sure.
what's the level of stress watching your team play right now? Like, because in the first half, like you said, it's tough. It seems like they play down to their opponent, uh, and then they kind of pick it up in the second half. But like, what watching them in the first half, is it just like, damn, we're gonna get it together? Like, you kind of feel like it's coming. There's really no panic, or it's just like, damn, it's gonna be one of those days.
No, I mean, I definitely have confidence because we've generally, throughout this whole season, after, but for maybe week 1 and week 2, like stuttered in the first half of the game and then turned it on in the second half, or vice versa, right? Where we do well in the first half and not well in the second half. And maybe that's not the whole team. Maybe that's just offense or just defense. But I do feel like we make good halftime adjustments, or I don't know, do some smelling salts or something and wake up and end up putting together a
You
good
crack in the
game.
locker room.
So like to me it's we've got to stop the run. Like if the Panthers can't run the football on us, which we've got a pretty good run defense, and we make Bryce Young have to drop back, then we can kind of pin our ears back and get some pressure, like Borba was saying. And then I really like our chances. As long as we don't turn the ball over and we can stop the run, I think we should beat the Panthers. Um, we also got Christian Watson back against the Steelers. He had, he only
Okay.
played about
Okay.
50% of the snaps, and I think he had 4 targets, 4 catches for like 80 yards. So he's another deep threat, that I think can take, the top off of a defense that'll ultimately help open up the running game more. And as long as he can stay healthy, which I obviously hope that he can, I think our offense can definitely get rolling.
Yeah, for sure. Well, E-Rob, anything else you'd like to touch on real quick before we let you enjoy your workday?
No, I think that's it, unless you want to revisit Dallas against the Broncos.
No, we've already flipped the chapter to the next week. Should have been here on Monday, Tuesday.
You're like, nope, nope. We've
How
already flipped that
That's the perk.
page.
That's the perk. Well, E-Rob, enjoy the rest of your day and your football weekend. Hopefully, all your bets cash. Oh, real quick, Texas or Vandy? Who's winning this weekend?
is Arch Manning out?
No.
He's playing. Where's it at?
Good question. Good question. I believe it's in. I think it's in Texas. I
I'm gonna
wasn't
take
quite prepared for
Texas.
that.
I'm gonna take
Texas at
Texas.
home. Archie Manning, Diego Pavia, the battle of the SEC, middle of the pack, I guess, at this point. But anyways, E-Rob, enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate you, brother. Ladies and
All right,
gentlemen,
see you
Earl
guys.
Robinson. Well, I expected a little more faith today, right? So it seems like I'm the one that always gets the shots, JB. But you guys got a little tag team thing going. I thought there was supposed to be a little more division with the Minnesota Packer hatred, but I guess low key, E-Rob might be big brothering you just a little bit. He's just like, it's okay, my little bro. I understand what he goes through every year. Go, Pat, go. That's, that's how it feels. No?
It's tough. It's tough out here.
No,
I don't
it's all right.
know. It's easy to
Football's
talk when
tough,
the
huh?
team's like 5-1. And I don't know. Maybe it's because we're in the same division or something like that. I don't know. And it's easy to just hate on the Cowboys
Oh,
too. It's
bro.
it's a no brainer, really.
Well, honestly, we got
So
two teams. Our two favorite teams are like I always think of it like if I'm on the other side, it's just too easy to troll. It really is. Like cuz
yeah,
there's not many things that you can rebuttal with because at the end of the day, like the one takeaway for the Cowboys or the one thing that will always kind of dig at us is like once we start talking playoffs. And then once we start talking playoffs, you have to like remove yourself from the conversation because is there really anything to talk about at that point, right? But it depends who
yeah,
you're talking to. But JB, let's move forward here. We got the Chargers coming off that big win against you guys. Hey JB, you know what? Real quick. So I went on this whole rant on Tuesday when it was just me. I'm not sure if you tuned in. I went on this whole thing about y'all's organization and KOC. I don't know if you saw the interview that happened Tuesday with KOC coming out and talking about Carson Wentz and how they knew he was already dealing with an injury, but the medical staff said that it wasn't going to get worse. So like it
yeah,
was what it was. It was
yeah,
gonna require surgery at some point, regardless. And he still chose to trot him out rather than playing y'all's backup quarterback because it seemed like he didn't want to build some type of controversy with JJ McCarthy. And I went off on this whole thing about how it legitimizes the fact that we've been saying they've babied JJ McCarthy. So it almost feels like they've made JJ McCarthy look worse because of the way they handled it. And was I fair with my criticism on KOC? I'm not necessarily calling for KOC's job. I don't think that's the answer. I just think the way he's handled this whole thing has been shite, and it's kind of a reflection of where that team stands right now. Like as a locker room, Darius Butler from the Pat McAfee show, he always says, the locker room will always see the bullshit. They always know which quarterback should be the one that's starting. They can't fugaze the locker room. It feels like in this situation, I like the dancing around JJ McCarthy. Is he healthy? Is he not healthy? Do we not want to bring him in too early because we don't want to compromise him? Blah blah blah. I think they've handled it like shite. What are your thoughts on the way that KOC and that staff has handled the Minnesota Vikings? Just real quick.
No, 100%. I've been saying it, just the way that they've handled the whole situation. I don't like it. I've never seen anything like it. And then to put your quarterback as the emergency quarterback on top of that, that shows me that he can play. Like if you're
Yeah.
labeled as the emergency quarterback, you're healthy enough to play. So that's just another questionable move. Like all these moves have been questionable, and I think you could have brought. I know they're going through. It was a 6-week process to get the ankle fully healed. Blah blah. This and that. I don't know, man. It's just it's been weird. I don't like how they've handled it. And
JB,
just
and you know
yeah.
what's going to be interesting is whenever we watch this game Sunday, and now it's almost like they've shortened the leash on JJ McCarthy because they left the door kind of cracked open to what we could possibly expect from that backup quarterback. Now, if let's say JJ McCarthy, let's just say he re-aggravates the injury, or I don't know, let's just say he starts off super slow in the first half. Now you raise the question: do we bench him? Do we bring in our backup? And now, if the backup comes in and has any type of success whatsoever, the noise just gets so much louder going into the following week. I hate the way they handle it because they've set themselves up for controversy regardless. And now here we are going in against potentially a Super Bowl contender in the Detroit Lions, who might just completely beat the brakes off of us. And now we're going to ask ourselves the question: if they are getting the brakes beat off of them by halftime, now we raise the question: do you sit JJ McCarthy, or is your backup not well prepared enough, as you said with Carson Wentz, so you're not going to allow him to come in and debut himself? I don't know. I'm actually shocked. I'm at my level of frustration for your Minnesota Vikings are at an ultimate high. I don't know if it's because I've had some type of investment because of you on the show, but god damn Minnesota. I just want to see you guys do well, and it seems like we just keep putting our foot up our own tush, and we're going to find out. We are going to find out if KOC eats his own words this weekend. Panthers, Packers, you win with the Packers. So did I. We got the Broncos versus the Texans. This is a massive matchup here. You got the Broncos coming off that big win against the Dallas Cowboys, where the offense seemed to be clicking on all cylinders. The running game really got going. Bo Nix got going. Can they continue that going into Houston to face CJ Stroud and the Texans with the struggling offensive line, but seemed to have given him enough time last week to really showcase the capabilities of that offense in Houston? JB, who you think's going to win? The 1 point Houston Texans are actually 1.5 point favorites in this game. That's an interesting line. What does Vegas know that we don't know, JB?
Well, I think isn't that just how they kind of started off? Like if it's going to be a close game, they'll just give it 1.5 point favorites, to, like the home team. That's kind of how they do it.
Yeah, the
So
home team will get it like a point, but 1.5. This is almost a coin toss. Well, I think when you look
yeah,
at this matchup, I wouldn't expect it to be a coin toss. I would expect that the Broncos would be at least maybe 2.5, 3.5 point favorites. I would lean more to 3.5. I don't know. I mean, I guess that just shows the type of respect that Vegas has for the Houston Texans defense.
yeah, I think that's what it is. But if you take 1.5, I mean, I would definitely hit Broncos to win this game. I just think with the Broncos right now, and then with their pass rush, and then the question marks with Houston's offensive line, that's going to be the big tell of the game. If they start getting after CJ Stroud early, they're going to make life hard. They're going to make life hard for that offense to move the ball. Now, I can see the game being close because defensively, Houston has played really good defense. It's kept them in games. So It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But I think the deciding factor is going to be the way that um, that Broncos front is going to get after CJ Stroud. And if they allow a bunch of pressures, hits, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, I don't think they have much success offensively. It's hard for them to kind of run the ball to get to establish a ground game, Houston. So I could see Broncos winning this game by 10 points at least.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I honestly, I guess just the level of respect that they have for this Texans defense is high, as we should though. As we should. The one thing we've said about this Houston Texans team is that defense has been buzzing. They're number 1 in passing efficiency in the NFL. The Broncos do send pressure, like you said, they send pressure 45.9% of the time against against a rough, not tough, rough O line in Houston. I expect the Denver Broncos defense to get there. You saw the amount of pressure they put on Dak last week, and we're talking about a guy that was in the MVP conversation. So I expect similar success from the Broncos as they did with the Dallas Cowboys last week. I'm gonna go with the Broncos here. You as well?
Yeah, I have to take the Broncos. They have to win too. I mean, you got the Chiefs coming up. The Chargers, they're not going away. So, but the Chiefs are coming to try to win that division, and they're only a game back technically. So, every game kind of matters. You got to if you want to win the division, possibly get a bye. You're still in the conversation for that. You got to win this game. Must win game,
Yeah.
and got to keep it moving.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe must win might be a little bit of a stretch, but I get where you're coming from here. The Chiefs are right behind you, and you don't want to give them
It's
no
a must
life,
win for
Denver
different
Broncos.
reasons. There's
Yes.
must wins for different reasons. There's must wins for teams like the Vikings, who their season's going to go in shambles. But then there's must win to playoff seeding now. Now we're in the second half of the season. Playoff seeding's everything. Getting a bye, home game advantage, all these stuff comes into play. So it's a different type of
Yeah, for
must
sure.
win
For
for
sure.
sure. Yeah, and you got to win these type of games. Like overall, Denver's the better team right now, and they've been the better team all season. So you need to win this game. You have to win this game to prove what type of team you really are. You got to win these types of games. It's a
Yeah.
tough opponent, but you can beat them. That's what you got to do.
A A to the men on that one, JB. Now you got Atlanta Falcons going over to New England. New England Patriots being a 5.5 point favorites. The storyline on this game is, can the up and down Falcons stop Drake May? Drake May introduced himself into the MVP conversation this past week, according to ESPN. How do we feel about this matchup? I mean, the Falcons are they're so up and down. Kirk Cousins has asked for a trade to go out to a team that can possibly start, given his cap hit. Don't know how possible that will be, but there's a lot of juice happening out there in Atlanta. We posted a clip, JB. A couple of the comments said, actually, this is crazy because Falcons fans. There was two Falcons fans. So I'm just going to allow these two guys to completely speak, or gals completely speak for the Atlanta Falcons fan base. But when we put out the clip about Robert Saleh and Mike McDaniel's potentially being the targets for the Cleveland Browns, there was two guys that went on our YouTube and commented that actually sounds like a best case scenario for the Atlanta Falcons. I was kind of shocked because I didn't think Raheem was in. I didn't know that his job was being questioned in Atlanta. Is that fair to start questioning Raheem Morris's ability to coach this Atlanta Falcons team, or do you feel like the fan base is just slightly overreacting and we got to be a little more patient? It's like it seems like, bro, our attention span is so short that we can't allow one bad game from any of our teams before we're just like, fire him, get rid of him. We need a better OC, we need a better DC, and it seems like he's a defensive minded guy. It feels like Atlanta's defense is playing fairly well. Um, Obviously middle of the pack, but how much of that has to do with the inefficiency on offense? But is there an overreaction from the Atlanta Falcons fans? And then also, who do you think is going to win this game?
Honestly, I don't think there is because Raheem Morris, he has not done anything with the Falcons. They have not made any playoff appearances. They're not
Second year though.
consistent. Huh?
It's second year though.
Second year. You could be calling for the coach's head. You gotta see what you got with Michael Penix first. Like when Michael Penix is out there, this team seems to move the ball better, just be a little bit more effective offensively. So I think you got to write it out. Like I don't think you call for his head coaching job right now. Like 8 or 9 wins this year, I think that's an improvement, and it kind of catapults you in the right direction for next year to be even better. So, there's question marks. Sure, you're not getting wins and things like that, but I know in the NFL it stands for not for long. So you're analyzed by what you're doing now. Your productivity of what you're doing now is how you're relevant in the league. And that's how it is. It's a week to week thing. It's not like the NBA where these coaches are on their 15th year or all this
Yeah.
type of stuff. Like coaches come and go, and if you don't get the results done, if you're not projecting this a franchise into the right direction, you're gone. You're gone quick. So, you got to
But
win
don't
these
feel
types of
bad.
games.
Don't feel bad
Yeah.
because coaches' contracts are fully guaranteed. And boy, if you look at these contracts that are being paid out to these college football coaches that are getting fired, boy, oh boy, man, bro, I'm talking about $50 million to just go sit on the couch or go be a pro golfer if you want to call yourself that. You know what I mean, brother? It's
Well,
crazy,
yeah,
crazy
I
the
know
amount of
there's a lot
payouts.
of stipulations. There's a lot of stipulations too when those coaches get fired and their contracts are fully guaranteed. Like you got to work, you still got to have a part in in this case, in the college football season. Like you got to do TV, podcast, something like that to keep
Yeah, yeah.
your to start to keep getting paid.
Hey, man.
But
Well, here, here's the thing. I dug into that a little bit. So it's almost like do you all right, so during COVID, right? Or I think this is just any situation in for like government assistance. So from my understanding is as long as you're looking for the job, they'll still give you the benefit of the doubt and send you your check. So I think in this situation, still, it's the same thing with the coaches. You just got to go out there and try to get a job. Now, how hard do you have to try to get that job? That's up to you, right? And they pay you the difference in salary. So at this point, with the state that we're in 2025, who's not to say this person just starts their own show? Right? And
yeah,
all of a sudden you become a media head. With your credentials,
yep.
I'm sure you can get credentialed to go into any spots in college football or in the NFL. So there's always going to be a way to weasel through. I think there's a way to weasel through anything. Really, if you're locked in, if you're locked in, there's a way to navigate anything to bend it the way that you would like. JB, Halloween tomorrow. We dressing up?
Nope.
Nope. We handing
Not
out. We
me.
handing out.
Nope.
We handing out candy.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. See how the night
Oh,
goes.
dude,
I don't know. I
I
got I
thought you
got
were
other
gonna paint
plans, man. I'm in the gym. That's where I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be in the gym. I got goals. I got goals,
just Hulk
man.
smash it. Dude,
Yep.
you
I
should
got
just
goals.
spray paint yourself green. Spray yourself
I
green, JB.
should.
Go to
I
go
should
to the
get a
gym
video.
green,
Get some content.
please, bro.
Yeah.
If you
Might have to
just
do that.
color yourself green, get yourself some nice little purple shorts, and please
Yep.
hit the gym as the Hulk. Ah, please,
It's a
please.
good idea.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of thirst traps out there. JB seen the Hulk walk in. Bro,
Hey, it is what it
please
is.
do for the sake of this show, please show up as uh as the Hulk. That would be awesome. Um, sorry, just a little off topic. I just saw Halloween on my screen here, so I forgot to mention it. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Halloween is here, so you guys be careful, drive safe, look both ways before crossing the road, and also if you're driving, look both ways before passing a stop sign. Chargers versus Tennessee Titans. Chargers coming off that big win. Who you got winning that game?
We go with the Chargers. Chargers get it done.
Then you said New England, right? Over Atlanta.
Yeah, give me New England.
And then 49ers going over to New York. No Cam Scatterboo. We didn't get to talk about this on Tuesday, but Cam Scatterboo dislocated his leg, also aka broken leg. Dislocated sounds a lot nicer, but it's broken. It seems from what's being reported, it's a pretty. I mean, like it's pretty gnarly. It's not just a fracture. It's a couple parts inside that leg got damaged. TBD on how he returns. Right. T's and P's to him. Hopefully, comes back soon or healthy as ever. A better version of himself because that team really was buzzing. I kind of feel for Jackson Dart at this point. You know, you got Malik Neighbors going out now. Cam Scatterboo. Cam Scatterboo seemed like to be the perfect match with him. I feel like they're going to feel that. They're going to feel it more than ever against this San Francisco team that's just came off a rough loss. I think Brock Purdy's probably coming back. He's questionable. It's still questionable game time decision, but from my understanding, it seems like they're leaning on him to play. I think San Francisco gets back on track this week and gets a win over the Giants. What you got?
Yeah, I agree. I think 49ers just offensively and defensively might be a little too much for the Giants to keep up, you know? Um, and what sucks too about that Cam Scatterbo injury, like that was like a hip drop tackle. Like I don't care what anybody says. If you were in the air, if he was defending, like the way that you come down, you can't bring the guy down with your hip leading. And I don't know what
Yeah,
happened
you
to
can't
this
just tackle.
rule. You know, they tried enforcing it. Remember, they tried enforcing it. They were going to find
Yeah,
players.
but it's just so hard to really like. It's it's one of those things. It's like every there's a foul in every play. Like, are you gonna call everything? Like a
They
hip
don't call
drop
it. They
tackle
don't call it at all
sometimes.
anymore.
No,
Nobody
I
gets
know, but
fined for it. Nothing.
a hip drop tackle sometimes almost looks just like a tackle sometimes. And it's really about how
Yeah,
the
they call it a hip drop tackle. You're falling with the hip. You're pulling the guy's body weight down with your hip. You're bringing your hip down and you're pulling him down with you, and your hip is right there. Like your hip is what like is
damn, bro, I
leading
don't
into the
know.
ground,
That's
and that wraps underneath the guy's foot every time. And I don't I
but
I
if
don't know
if
how
you're
that's not
running
a hip
from
drop tackle.
if you're running after someone from behind and you just
Grab him
lunge
by the
yourself
feet.
like
Grab him down low. I feel like you don't need a hip drop tackle. I don't know. Like they talk about the safety
yeah, I
and all
mean
this
you're right,
stuff,
you're right.
and then you see that these players get fined halfway. You know, on Wednesdays they get fined for leading with the helmet. They're just trying to lower their shoulder. Like, okay, if you're doing stupid fines like that, you might as well do hip drop tackle fines. Like you got to get it
Which
out of
is
the
what they
game
were supposed
somehow.
to do. Yeah,
You
which is
got to
what
get
they
it
were
out of the
supposed
game
to do.
somehow because it's way it's almost you get more injuries doing that than like leading with your head and stuff now. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see nothing in
You
the
hate it. You hate
NFL
it.
is inconsistent. I mean, it's nothing consistent. I don't know.
The NFL stinks. Cancel the season. Start over. Start it over. Right, JB?
Or just just
Oh
just
man.
end it and let's just start fresh next year. At this point,
That's
it's already
we're
halfway
down bad.
through.
Down in the dumps, JB. Two teams that are good though, the Indianapolis Colts and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they'll be battling out this Sunday at 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. JB, you got the Steelers averaging 25 points a game, going against an offense that seems to be clicking on all cylinders. Two guys, we don't know who's our MVP. Is it Jonathan Taylor or is it good old Mr. Daniel Jones? This team is averaging 33.8 points a game right now. Uh, Aaron Rodgers and that offense, are they missing pieces or is it something that they can get rolling here?
I don't know. I think the offense isn't really the issue. Yeah, I think you do need another wide receiver that you can throw to for sure. Maybe even a running back, but you can't get both. You got to get one or the other, and you also got to protect Rodgers too. You know, maybe he does need a little bit of offensive line help. There's just a couple inefficiencies offensively, but I think the real issue is just the defense. The defense is totally 100% holding this team back. It's just not playing good, and it's the most expensive defensive roster in the league. Like you got a lot of guys that are getting paid, and there's not the results that you want. So that's frustrating. And I think when it comes to consistency, I've seen the Colts be consistent all year. And that's
Yeah.
like ultimately my deciding factor. Like they've been playing good defense. The running game has been good. Daniel Jones has been good. The offensive line is one of the best in the league. Um, and like I said, the Colts defense has been consistent, and they've been an above average defense for the entire year. So I would take consistency at this point. And what do we see when Pittsburgh is up against a heavyweight opponent? We see them kind of crumble. We see like their flaws really start to show up. So for me, I'm taking the more consistent team, the team that's built better at this point, quite honestly, and that's the Colts. And Jonathan Taylor, man, I think he might be leading the MVP conversation right now.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree with you more, JB. I'm looking at the breakdown on this matchup here, and the one thing that stands out to me the most is that the Colts offense is ranked number 3 in the league, getting the ball out of their hands quickly and efficiently. And you look over to the Steelers defense, and they're ranked 29 when they're going against a quarterback that releases the ball quickly. I think that stands out to me quick because if Daniel Jones can operate quickly, I mean, it's only going to open up the running game, and we will see Jonathan Taylor perform yet again at an MVP level. I think he's the MVP of the league right now. He's my favorite for the MVP. I hate that it's such a quarterback driven award, but I think Jonathan Taylor is going to make a legitimate case as to why a running back should begin it this year. That would be pretty neat. And I think because they're so hit or miss on quarterback performances, like for example, on Tuesday I said we can close the door on the Dak Prescott MVP conversation. He's had 2 rough games against 2 mediocre teams. Denver and Chicago. I guess you can't call Denver mediocre, right? But Chicago, who knows what they are? So that loss might actually look worse. But in the 2 games that they did lose, we averaged 14 points a game. I think when you're a MVP type caliber quarterback, that's something that can't happen. And I get it, the defense, la 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 la, so on and so forth. That doesn't take away from what your individual performance could be. But then you go and look at like Mahomes stats, and you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked how much a win can blind us to what actually happened in the game. Of course, like you see like a 17-10 win or something like that, and the quarterback didn't play well, but showed up in the final draft, so that uplifts his stock, and that's kind of what we see with the Chiefs more often than not. But Jonathan Taylor seems to be the most consistent player in the league right now. I'm going to take the Colts. As much as I want to ride with Aaron Rodgers, I love me some Aaron Rodgers. And I think this is going to be a good game until it's not. I think once we get into the third quarter, when the boys start getting a little tired, a little more exhausted, Jonathan Taylor's going to pound that rock down their throat and kind of break it open there in the fourth. I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts with you as well. And then now we got the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I feel like I think this is a massive game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who are they? Who is what is that offense really? ETN, you see a level of inconsistency where he's looking like one of the best backs in the leagues, and then he doesn't get utilized like you think he would. You would have thought he would have in the game plan. I mean, it's like we don't really know what their game plan is as the game goes on. Now, is that the inefficiency with Trevor Lawrence, or is that a coaching issue with Liam Cohen, or what is continuing to keep them in games is that defense. So you always got the defense to lean on, which is a situation that I would prefer my team to be in. I would prefer that my team is relying on their defense to win games and then just hoping that the offense comes together. That's kind of what I get the feeling from Jacksonville, and I do expect it to look better against this struggling Vegas team. So I'm going to take the Jags. Who you got?
Well, I think Brock Bowers comes back this week, so he's healthy. That's another
Yeah,
weapon. Jacoby Myers, I think, is back in for the Raiders, and it's that time of year where we start
he
seeing
wants
some
out.
weird upsets. And this is an important game for Jacksonville to stay in the playoff race for sure. They can't drop it. They can't drop this game.
Hey, I don't know if this matters, but Tyler Lockett did sign with the Las
Oh yeah,
Vegas Raiders
with
this
the
week.
Raiders.
Former teammate of Geno Smith. They both had a hell of a career there in Seattle previously, and a former player of the good old Pete Carroll. I don't know if that has any effect. Just thought I'd throw that out there for you, but
It might.
continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, it might. They do have that connection, that chemistry from Seattle. So this game is like interesting. It's hard to call this one for me for some reason. I can see the Raiders winning, just getting an upset. But for you know, I think for the just get to give you a straight up answer, what I feel more confident in, I think the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars, just because Trevor Lawrence, if he could just stay upright, not get pressured too much, I think they overall are the better team. They are the better team. So just protect him, get the ball out. You got to get some more chemistry. Brian Thomas Jr.'s got to play better than what he has been. He's got a lot of drops this season. So I think you got to start. You got to turn that around. You got to get him involved and get his confidence up and allow him to kind of be the playmaker that he was last season. So I think that's another big issue that they have too, is just getting the chemistry down, getting everything flowing. I guess getting all three levels of that offense going, from the offensive line to the running game to the throwing game. Got to get it all in sync. And I think if you want to make a run, this is where it starts at. A game like this that you should win, you gotta deliver. So give me the Jaguars, but I do like the
Look at.
Raiders.
Come on, Jags. Come on. Yep. Hey, Raiders, you're still alive. Only 2-5. The whole season's right in front of you. You're not going to get rid of Max Crosby, according to Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. He's not going nowhere. So if he's going to stay there, might as well go out and win games. You brought in another weapon. Now you got him. Now you got Lockett. Now, but honestly, kind of got some weapons. You got Bauer, Lockett, Myers, and good old Michael Myers sitting there in the backfield, just ready to go off for over 100 yards. This is potentially set up as an upset. I agree with you there, JB. I am going to lean towards the Jaguars, but this is one of those where I would probably sprinkle a little bit of cash on the Raiders, because that game should stay interesting, and it is at home. JB, quick pick here. Don't waste too much time. We got to let these people go to work. But Seahawks and Commanders. Seahawks keep it rolling.
I think the Seahawks
I
win.
think
I
so.
think overall they're just the better team. Jaden Daniels, I think, is coming back, so he'll be playing. But I like what Sam Darnold's doing, and that offense is clicking pretty well. So I like it. And the defense is getting better every week too. They're playing good defense. Give me Seattle.
And and the game of the week, the Kansas City Chiefs going over to Buffalo Bills. Or also, the game of the week is Arizona Cardinals versus Dallas Cowboys. But we'll touch on that on Monday, JB. Monday, 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. Join us. You can also call in 575-808-9307. But you got Kansas City going to Buffalo. We looked up the ticket, the price on tickets here, because we're gonna check to see if we could get in game day, game or morning of game. This game is at 2 o'clock. Right now, JB, Section 2 game, the tickets are sitting at $900, roughly $900. So what we're going to look at is we're going to see what a ticket would be priced at the morning of the game, or if a ticket would even be available. Because I'm a believer that people panic sell. And if you just kind of hold off until the morning of the game, but you go in with the mentality that, hey, if I don't get a ticket, it's okay. I'll just enjoy the activities that are around the game, right? In that city, right? So if you go to Dallas, there's Dallas Live right across the street. It's a big bar, but I'm assuming Buffalo has a similar thing. So we're going to see if the prices drop or if I'm an idiot and the prices go up. But who do you think's going to win this game here?
I think the Chiefs win this game, for sure. I think the Chiefs win. I'm not a big believer of the Bills' defense right now, and I think the Chiefs are starting to click. I think they need to use Kareem Hunt a little bit more. He gives them a little bit more toughness in the run game. I mean, Pacheco's good, but I think he got hurt last week too. But
He's
overall, I just like. I think the Chiefs are going to start stacking up wins. I think they're going to be coming out of the AFC as one of the top teams this year. So they're going to be trying to play for a bye. I think they put a lot of wins together. So I think they go on a good win streak and they put pressure on the rest of the AFC. But no matter what, you got to go through Patrick Mahomes. You got to go through the Chiefs. If you want to win that division, if you want to make the Super Bowl, if you want to play in the Super Bowl, you got to go through Mahomes. I think that's what it's coming down
Yeah.
to.
Yo, I just a part of what you just said 100% makes me want to go Chiefs. Everything leaning into this game makes me want to go Chiefs. I get that I get that the Bills had their bounce back game last week against the Carolina Panthers, but there was no Bryce Young. They had no opportunity to get that offense going. And the Bills seem to have been clicking on all cylinders. But before that, against two decent teams, they dropped the ball. And they lost they not only lost, but they only averaged 17 points for those two games, JB. Uh, I think I think that I think they lose, and I think it brings up the level of urgency for them to make a move before the trade deadline. This is a team that needs to go out and go get themselves a number one wide receiver. Maybe pick up the phone and call the Philadelphia Eagles for an A.J. Brown, or maybe call the Cowboys for George Pickens, or I don't know, maybe call the Dolphins for Jalen Waddle. I think that this Bills team needs a superstar wide receiver that can bail them out when all things fail. And not only that, I honestly think their deficiency is on defense. It's like they can't get to the quarterback. They this is a bend but don't break type defense, and they need to change that because the formula that they've tried it out there year after year delivers the same result. So I actually think that it's better for the Bills to lose this weekend than it is for the Chiefs because it heightens the level of urgency for them to go out and make a move. And with that being said, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs as well, JB. And that comes, we'll bring the show to the end here, JB. It's the NFL Week 9 slate. Good luck to all you bettors. I hope all y'all's tickets cash unless you're betting against the Dallas Cowboys. I hope that you lose a little bit of money. Not too much, just a little bit. But we appreciate you joining the show. We are live Monday through Thursday, 6:30 to 7:30 Mountain Standard Time. You can call in at 575-808-9307. This show only works if you guys join us. Join the chatter. Let us know what you think of your team. We're in the middle of the season, so we are going to find out exactly what a lot of these teams are coming out of this week. Oh, what an NFL slate to look forward to. And also you have the Saturday college slate where Tim Foley will be joining us next Tuesday to start breaking down these games. He's been MIA for just a second, but the return is going to be massive. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Or enjoy your Halloween weekend. Those who are playing in the 3v3 tournament, good luck to you guys. Good luck to you gals. And good luck to my kiddos. They're playing in it. Or to my kiddo and her team. They're playing in it. So good luck to them. I hope they enjoy it. I'll enjoy it for sure. JB, anything you'd like to say to the listeners?
Nope. Have a good
Let's
day.
have a day. Goodbye.